following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 29th day of December 2021. As we play what I think is probably the most intriguing opening day matchup of all the matchups in Major League Baseball to start the 1985 season. It is the St. Louis Cardinals and New York Mets. The New York Mets are a team on the rise, as you well know. The Mets came close to winning the division in 85, won it all in 86. Came close in 87, should have won it all in 88, and then fell apart by the late 1989. This is the start of a 5-year run, kind of like the late 70s Red Sox, where you think at the end of it, they should have won more. But we didn't know at this point, and boy, the Mets have somebody good on the mound today by the name of Doc Gooden. And old Dwight, Dr. K, is going to have a field day through the National League in 1985, and so are the St. Louis Cardinals, because even then you knew that they were a different kind of ball club. They are not a power club at all. They are a small ball, let's get on base and manufacture runs team with some very good pitching. John Tudor would go on to win 20 in 1985, but it's Joaquin Andujar, the hero from 1982, that gets the start on opening day. And so with all that, the Cardinals and the Mets are going to battle all year. You won't see all 18 matchups here on Retro Sports Network, but you are going to see the first next. As Retro Sports Network presents 85 Major League Baseball replay today from Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York. It is the New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals, and today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And this one should be all that in a bag of chips, as Dwight Gooden takes his warm-up tosses in front of 56,000 at Shea Stadium. The wind is, again, like yesterday in Detroit, out to center field, so it's blowing out. Forget what I said. At 13 miles an hour, and it is 56 degrees in Queens on a beautiful April 9th spring day. Gooden is all of 21 years old. By the time the season ends, he made 35 starts in 1985, completed 16. He went 24-4 in his Cy Young season with an ERA of 1.53, which compared to the National League adjusted for ballpark gives you an ERA plus of 2.31, or 131% above league average. That's astounding. Davey Johnson had him finish 16 games. He went 276 and 2/3 innings, allowed 198 hits. Just gave up 51 runs and 47 earned. 13 homers. He walked 69. See you tomorrow, John, for the Padres and the Giants. He walked 69 and struck out 268 in a whip of under 965. And the National League hit 201 against him. We will do a John Madden game on tape, by the way, for tonight, so catch that on YouTube. This will be the lineup the good doctor will face. I forgot Lonnie Smith started the year with St. Louis. I believe he ends it in Kansas City. He is in left field. He will lead off. Tommy Herr at second will bat second. Terry Pendleton at third will bat third. Jack Clark cleans up at first base. Darrell Porter behind the plate. He'll bat fifth. Steve Braun is in right field. He'll go sixth. No Vince Coleman yet. It's Andy Van Slyke in center field. He'll bat 7th. The Wizard, Ozzie Smith at short, will bat 8th. And Joaquin Andahar, who was not a bad pitcher on his own accord in 85, gets the opening day start. He'll bat 9th. Defensively for the Mets, it'll be George Foster. He's a 3 and a 4 in left. Mookie Wilson, he's got a ramen noodle arm out there. He's a 7 range, but only a 1 arm. Darryl Strawberry is a 3 in right. Again, even if it's strapped, it's not that good. But his arm is excellent. It's a 7. Around the infield, it's not your mother. It must be Howard Johnson. He's a 3 at third. Rafael Santana, the good glove no-hit shortstop of the era. He's a 5 there. Wally Backman is a 3. Keith Hernandez, surprisingly, is not a 10 at first. He's an 8. And Gary Carter behind the plate is a 9 and a 6. Gooden, a 969 fielding percentage with a 7 range. So you can see why the Mets kind of struggled in the field. I don't think it should hurt them too much, but it may not help. And if this race goes to as it did in real life, it's a 2-game stretch between these two teams. Lonnie Smith with the Cardinals, 260, no homers, 12 stolen bases, and 7 RBI. And he would only be in town through May 17th. So, Cardinal fans, he won't be here long. Gooden's ready, and so are we. And this one starts with a line drive into right field for a base hit. So, Darryl Strawberry should have gotten there. He did not. And there goes the no-hitter. Midlife crisis. Yeah, if you're watching on the phone, I can't do anything about the buffering. We are a full up. I can see the video on my end, but obviously I can't hear myself, or you'd hear the infamous infinite loop. Tommy Herr, 302, 8 homers, and drove in 110. He stole 31 bases. Throw to first. Oh, pitch out, rather. Nothing going as I hit the wrong button. So Smith now with a more eager chance to go, and Gooden couldn't throw out a base runner to save his life to begin with. There goes Smith to throw down to Santana, and they got him. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, yeah. Yesterday's game was fun. For your Indian fans who joined us late, you don't know when they're going to be on again. The Cleveland Indians are in first place. Anyway, so goes 2-6 on the caught stealing. So 1-1 count to Tommy Herr. There's a ground ball to Santana, almost on the grass. He's got to hurry for the out. So 2 out for Pendleton. Terry at 240, 5 homers and 69 RBI. JT Dutch, good morning. How are you? Midlife Crisis lost the audio. That is a common problem on the Twitch app, is the audio cuts in and out. I'm looking over at my screen. It says that my uploads are excellent. 2 out. There's a ground ball to third. Hojo is there, across the way, and that will retire the side. So, no runs, a hit, and they get a runner thrown out. Cardinals get nothing in the top of the first. Here come the Mets. This one should be fun. The Cardinals and the Mets, some good opening week matchups, too. So what we'll do this week, we got one more opening day game to do. That will be tomorrow. That'll be, I believe, it's San Diego and San Francisco. And then we would just do our regular Wednesday, Friday, our regular week 1 stuff. So, anyway, here's Joaquin Andahar. Kind of forgotten because John Tudor would steal the show for St. Louis. Andahar, who spent so long in Houston as a Swiss Army knife pitcher, really came into his own with the Cardinals. 33 years old. He'd start 38 games. he'd go 21-12 with an ERA of 3.40. 269 and 2/3 innings, 265 hits, 113 runs, 102 earned. He is a pitch-to-contact pitcher, 15 homers allowed, 82 walks, and 112 strikeouts. The fastball tops out at 83. He doesn't favor the ground ball nor the fly ball. Yeah, I'd forgotten that Vince Coleman didn't play in this game. It's Lonnie Smith. Here's the lineup for the Mets. It'll be Wally Backman leading off at second. Mookie Wilson in center will bat second. Keith Hernandez at first will hit third. Gary Carter cleans up behind the plate. Darryl Strawberry will bat fifth and play right field. George Foster in left will go sixth. Howard Johnson at third will bat seventh. Rafael Santana will pretend to bat and he'll go eighth. And Dwight Gooden, who threw 10 pitches in the top of the first, will go ninth. They're telling me John Tudor that year started 1-6. And then won 19 in a row. Yeah, Tudor was a house of fire in 85. Another swing and a miss by the Reds, I'm told. They signed Joaquin Andujar and shipped him to the Astros for peanuts. Who'd they give up? Who'd they get for him? Defensively for the Cardinals, Lonnie Smith is a 2 and a 5 in left. Andy Van Slyke, a 4 and a 9 in the center. Steve Braun is a 4 and an 8 in right. So good arms, but not good range. Pendleton is a 9 at third. Ozzie Smith is a 9, blasphemy, at short. Tommy Herr, I thought, was a better second baseman than that. He's a 5. Jack Clark is 6 at first. Darrell Porter, a 5 and a 4 behind the plate. And Andujar is a 7 on the mound, but that fielding percentage is not good at .898. Tudor started 85 at 1-7, and then won 20 of his last 21 decisions. If you must know, Backman at 273, a homer, and 38 RBI. And if you're wondering, Herr was a 2 at second on second in Strat, and Ozzie, of course, was a 1. Met season starts with a ground ball to third. Pendleton across the way, 1 out. Brings up Mookie Wilson. Mookie at 276 and 85, 8 triples, 6 homers, and 26 RBI. I was grounded for this game. And I remember my mom wasn't home, and so I snuck in and turned on the TV and watched as long as I could, about 2 minutes. Worried that she'd catch me watching it, and that would be the end of that. We got Channel 9 on in New York on cable. Pitch to Mookie. There's a ground ball to Ozzie, and guess who makes an error on opening day? Take a bow. You made it to D6. Here's Hernandez. Keith at 309, 10 homers, and 91 RBI. So let's see what the computer will do with Wilson. We won't steal him right away. Throw to first, Mookie back. Yep, well, the 10 rating is a range. But yes, he makes the error nonetheless. Of course he does. Pitch to Hernandez. There's a little number past the mound. Herr only can go to first. Wilson goes to second. And Keith is retired. 2 out. Brings up Gary Carter. Gary at 281. 32 homers. And 100 RBI. Wilson on second. Andujar on the mound for the Cardinals. 2 out, bottom of the first, no score. And Carter gets hit. Got him in the leg. And that'll bring up Strawberry. He's a baby in that picture, isn't he? 277, 29 homers, and 79 RBI. But he's got 2 on base with 2 out here in the first. Joaquin deals, and there's a fly ball to right. Braun in the corner, and that will be Off the wall. Wilson scores. Carter scores. 2-0 Mets.
Your attention, please. Will Paul Johnson please report to the Fan Assistance Center?
So, yeah, you never know if it's truly an exit with Andujar. Yeah, Joaquin was wild. Here's George Foster, 263, 21 homers, and 77 RBI. So, Strawberry, the 2-run double. And with Gooden on the mound, 2 might be enough. Pitch to Foster. Got him. He swings and misses at the 84-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 runs, 1 hit, and an error. And the 2-run double by Strawberry. After 1, 2-0 New York. So Clark, well, one of those Topps cards, you can tell by the spring training outfits, Porter and Braun. Jack was the power for St. Louis. And so the power, of course, for the Cardinals being one of those 25-watt bulbs you put in an easy bake oven. 281, 22 homers, and 87 RBI. Yeah, and a hard throw at people. Joaquin has a temper. Pitch to Clark. Struck him out. Swung on and missed the curve. 1 out. Here's Porter. Darryl at 221. 10 homers and 36 RBI. Gooden deals. There's a pop-up in the center. Wilson's there. Mookie's got it. 2 out. 338 down the lines here at Shea. 378 to the power alleys and 410 the dead center. And the park played big. Here's Steve Braun. 239, a homer and 6 RBI in limited duty. 2 out here in the second. Good winds and deals. And he walked him. Braun, 96-mile-an-hour fastball, missed low downstairs. Brings up Van Slyke. Andy at 259, 13 homers and 55 RBI. Brisk day here in Queens, 57 degrees, and the wind is blowing out to center field at 13. There's a ground ball. Gooden off the mound over to first, and that will retire the side. That's a 29, by the way, in Appa. After an inning and a half, no runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 2 here at Shea, 2-0 Mets. So it'll be Howard Johnson, Rafael Santana, and 1 Dwight Gooden to face Andujar here in the second. Hojo at 242, 11 homers. Remember all the fried clams and fries you can eat on Fridays, and 46 RBI. Oh, yeah, that outcome box says it's going to be a long day for St. Louis. Especially if Andujar's expected batting averages are 301. Pitch to Johnson. Howard into right center field, and that's going to be gone. That's a home run. Van Slyke went back to play it like it was going to be off the wall, and it just ran out of real estate. Jaime Aaron broadcasting in multiple languages. Ay, Carrera. So here it is again. Howard Johnson makes it 3-0 New York. As he puts that one just barely over the wall in right center. So a good start if you're a Met fan. Here's Santana. Actually, Santana didn't have a bad year in 85. He wasn't that good in 86. 257, a homer, and 29 RBI. Hojo was a top fantasy player one year. Really? Well, he did have good speed. So I'm not surprised. And if he was still with the Mets, 89, I think, was their last good year. 90, it kind of all fell apart. Pitch to Santana. There's a ground ball to the Wizard. This time Ozzie makes the jump throw for the out. Yeah, the reason being that he was a 30-30 player. He was not a Gold Glove at either third base or short. Not as old as I am. but he could do the job. Kind of like Parson Brown in A Winter Wonderland. Here's Gooden, 226, a homer. Wow, really? Because he wasn't a good hitter. 9 RBI. I will change that right now. That's going to drive me nutty. Pitch to Gooden. Popped up. Right center field. Van Slyke is there. And that will retire. No, it's 2 out. That won't retire anything. First 9 for Andujar. 36 pitches. An inning and 2/3. The 2 hits. The 2-run double by Strawberry and the solo shot by Johnson. And the strikeout. Of the 3 runs, only 1 is earned. Here's Backman. Wally is 0 for 1. Andujar's pitch. There's a ground ball to third. Pendleton has to hurry, and Backman is out. They got him on a bang-banger, and that will retire the side. Howard Johnson, a solo shot to right center. Is the lone hit, and after 2, it's 3-0 Mets. One thing, nice thing about being home alone, Brad says. Here's your cooking tip of the day. So I can make fried bologna sandwiches without hearing complaints about the smell. I can't say as I've ever had a fried bologna sandwich. Ozzie Smith, 276, 6 homers, 54 RBI. JT Dutch agrees. If that's your jam, good for you. Pitch to Ozzie. There's a fly ball left field. Foster comes in and makes a diving catch on the grass. 1 out. So here's Andujar. Talk about someone who can't hit. 106 with 8 RBI. Oh, see, you lost me with the mustard. That just kind of sounds like a rolled out hot dog to me. Pitch to Andujar. Struck him out. So Gooden got him on a curveball. Yeah, Andujar, a switch hitter. I think that was a requirement for Whitey Herzog, for everyone to be a switch hitter, right? So opening 9 for Gooden, 33 pitches. I'll read that in a second. 2 2/3 innings, 9 batters, a hit. That was a leadoff single by Lonnie Smith. He has walked 1 and struck out 2. And JT Dutch says of Andujar being a switch hitter, bad from both sides of the plate. So versatile. So Smith, Lonnie singled and then was thrown out trying to steal in the first. And then the third, he strikes out. Gooden got him. 92-mile-an-hour fastball swung on and missed. So that's 3 for Gooden. 2.5 in the books. No runs, no hits, no errors for St. Louis. 3-0 New York. You heard Barcelo Zuta's a switch hitter. So it'll be Mookie Wilson, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. He used both fists. Ba-doom boom. Thank you, Brad. He'll be here all the week. Please try the veal. So the last opening day special is tomorrow. It'll be San Diego and San Francisco. And then we will treat next week as the first week of the season. So I believe Kansas City, Toronto, San Francisco, LA. Yeah, we could talk about that now, I suppose. We'll get Mookie at the plate. Mookie 0 for 1, and he scored, reached on the air by Ozzie Smith. Mookie swings a ground ball to her over to Clark. 1 out for Hernandez. I said last night on Facebook, oh, Brad, you could get banned for that. I forgot what I said on Facebook now. That Madden is responsible for so much when it comes to pro football. You know, people forget, if you were an AFL fan, that he was a coach and a head coach there towards the end. In the 70s, he was the coach, a broadcaster in the 80s and 90s, and of course the video game. I mean, he meant something to everybody. There's anybody who's watched pro football in the last 50 years or 60 years that John Madden has been a part of. I'm with JT. Football is probably your fourth or fifth favorite sport. Yeah, Madden could talk about it. He was so good. He was so good. Pitch to Hernandez is a ground ball to Clark. Jack takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. So, yes, there will be a tribute game. I'll tape it using 2nd and 10, and I'll make sure that I'm coaching the Raiders. Madden had a winning percentage of .739. Here's Gary Carter. Gary reached or was hit by a pitch and scored. 2 out, bottom of the 3rd. And a har. There's a fly ball to the left. Lonnie Smith will track that down, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 4th. It's 3-0 Mets. There's a great clip I saw this morning. And, of course, as a Giants fan, I found this really funny. Of course, by the end of the 86 season, they had started the whole pour the bucket of Gatorade thing. And it became apparent that the Giants were going to blow out the Broncos in that Super Bowl. They had a whole bunch of things made up for it. And there's a 50-second clip of Madden just being silly. He's talking about the mother bucket and the father bucket and the baby bucket, and Summerall is just going along, and there was a graphic about what year the bucket was and how much they weighed and how tall it was. Yep, to put that 739 in perspective, that's 120 wins in a baseball season. Tommy Herr 0 for 1. Gooden deals, and there's a fly ball or pop-up. Wilson, Santana, and Foster converge. Is somebody going to get it? And no, it'll drop for a hit. No one can get there. It found the Bermuda Triangle, and that'll be the second Cardinal hit. JT says several of Madden's playoff losses were shady, the immaculate reception. But goes to the post, sea of hands. Of course, the Super Bowl win, which set a record for offense, most yards by an offense. So Herr with a lead off at first. Gooden throws over, and Tommy is back. In a 7-year stretch for the Raiders, they made 5 AFC championship games and lost. There was only 2 years in Madden's coaching career when they didn't make the playoffs, but I don't think he ever had a losing season. They'll pitch out. There goes Herr to throw down to second. They got him. So the Mets have shut down the Cardinals' running game. That's the second caught stealing in the ballgame. The fumble in the 77 conference championship game against Denver that wasn't called. Little before my time. That would have meant the game. I don't think they were beating Dallas anyway. I mean, Madden was around forever as far as a face on television. When he retired after the 78 season, which was only the 2 of the 11 that he didn't coach in a playoff game, he was 42 years old. Pitch to Pendleton. There's a pop-up. Backman behind the bag will make the catch. 2 out. Clark struck out his first time up. Oh, Oakland Shore. They knew what to do to get there. And I think that would have been the dream matchup, JT, of the 70s in the Super Bowl. Raiders-Cowboys. You never got it. I mean, Denver and the Orange Crush was quite the story. Can you imagine? Maybe if they had played, how you doing, Tribe? You missed it yesterday. Tribe fan. I should have been here. Maybe if the Redskins had played the Raiders in the Super Bowl, the divergent personalities between George Allen and John Madden. But can you imagine in an NFL Super Bowl, Tom Landry on one side and John Madden on the other? Pitch to Clark. There's a ground ball foul, third base side. 2-2 the count. Gooden deals. Got him. He got him on a fastball on the outside half of the plate, and that will retire the side. No runs, no one hit, no errors. 2 hits for the Cardinals, bottom 4, 3-0 Mets. Tribe fan was actually being social. Big Clue says in both of his years, his Raiders missed the playoffs. They had the best record of any non-playoff team in either conference. It's just tremendous. Just tremendous. Strawberry, that 2-run double, by the way, in the first, gave the Mets a 2-0 lead. So Madden's team in 71 and 78 won a combined 17, 11, and 2. And that 78 season was the Holy Roller. And the infamous, or the famous Bill King at the end of it, don't believe in anything anymore. Madden says, is it real? Is anything real anymore? And they said, yes, get your big butt off the field. Madden was a heavy-set man, and I can't believe he didn't have heart trouble early on. No, but primarily Madden didn't want to fly anymore. He'd had enough of the airplanes, and I think that's why he retired. But just being an NFL coach is stressful, and he was so good. Anyway, Strawberry hits a ground ball to her, Tommy over to first. 1 out. Usually when it's a quick thing like that, cause of death isn't usually, it's natural causes, unexpected. He was 85, for goodness sakes. Here's Foster. He struck out his first time up. The lone strikeout from Andujar. George into left center field. Van Slyke makes the catch for the out, 2 away. Here's Howard Johnson. Howard with a home run by the Nikon sign in right center. By the apple, as a matter of fact. Made it 3-0 New York. Yeah, and Madden lived a good life. Absolutely he did. Pitch to Hojo is into right field. Crowd likes it. That won't go anywhere in the field. That is off the scoreboard, and Howard Johnson has his second home run today. All Braun could do is turn and watch it go. So it's 4-0 Mets, as Howard Johnson just smashed that one off the National League scoreboard here at Shea. And Andujar is opening up a cold bottle of Maldito on the mound. Here's Rafael Santana. He's 0 for 1. 4-0 Mets here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 out. Santana in the center. Van Slyke going back, but will make the catch, and that will retire the side. So, Howard Johnson on pace for 300 home runs. Love April. 1 run, a hit, nobody left, no errors. We go to the 5th, 4-0 Mets. So Porter, Braun, and Van Slyke to face Gooden here in the 5th. Porter is 0 for 1. I would think so. Madden is one of those guys who is the sport to a generation or more. He's like Scully or Cosell. I was trying to think who could have possibly meant more to football. And I think you're going into Lombardi territory, because Madden excelled at everything. I mean, yes, we remember him as a broadcaster, and our parents' generation remember him as a coach. I think he meant as much to pro football. Yeah, 1 knee equals 2 feet. I read that book. I think John Madden meant as much to football as Vince Scully did to baseball. And I think that puts him above Cosell or Chick Hearn or Costas, as great as they are in their respective fields. I think Madden and Scully are on that Mount Rushmore together as far as ambassadors for their sport. Pitch to Porter. There's a fly ball to right center. Wilson will come in and make the catch, 1 out. Brings up Steve Braun. There you go. Boom! There you go. You could talk about Gordie Howe or Wayne Gretzky in hockey and the impact that they had in the game, or Bobby Orr, but they never really had it outside of their playing days. Larry Bird was a very good executive and head coach, but as far as an ambassador goes, I mean, most of us know who Hubie Brown is, but if you're a casual basketball fan, you probably don't. Foster Hewitt for broadcaster? I suppose. You could go with Bob Cole or Dan Kelly for that. Never forget the one year in his game when he must have mentioned stick him a dozen times in a quarter. There was always an Easter egg for that. On the all Madden team, the kicker was always Pat Summerall. Pitch to Braun. He walked again. So it's the second walk for Braun as we go back to the ball game. 1 out, top the 5th, 4-0 Mets. Andy Van Slyke is 0 for 1. In the left field, back goes Foster, and George will track that down. Braun will run back to first. 2 out for the Wizard, who's 0 for 1. JT Dutch says, I think to be one of the greatest head coaches of all time, to the greatest commentator of all time, to letting his name on the most successful football video game of all time. Yeah, I honestly, as far as ambassador, I think it's him and Scully. You could see as maybe Vitale for college basketball. You didn't know that? Pat Summerall was a great kicker back in the days of straight-ahead kickers. He kicked the New York Giants to a championship, as a matter of fact. Pitch to Ozzie. Gets away from Gary Carter, and Braun will go to second on the wild pitch. Tribe fan says he insisted on 11 for his games. None of the 7-on-7 horse hockey. Thank you, Colonel Potter. See Tecmo Bowl for NES. So a 1-0 count to Ozzie. There's a ground ball to Backman, and that will retire the side. I got a Pat Summerall story, but first you're going to get a commercial. And we're halfway home. No runs, no hits, no errors. Halfway home on a Wednesday at Shea. It's 4-0 New York. Join us late. Here's how we got here. All New York so far. Darryl Strawberry, a 2-run double in the first to make it 2-0 New York following an error by Ozzie Smith. Believe it or not. Then it's been the Howard Johnson show. A solo shot in the second to right center. And then another shot that hit the National League scoreboard in right field. To make it 4-0 New York. Andujar, 3-hitter through 4, but 2 of those hits have been home runs. He has struck out 1, about what you would expect him to do. And Dwight Gooden, the year that was his pony year, he's thrown a 2-hitter through 5 and has struck out 4. He will bat to start the bottom of the 5th. He's 0 for 1. Andujar winds and deals, and Gooden is on with a base hit to left. How about that? Yeah, Madden wouldn't lend his name to anything but an 11-on-11 game. Otherwise, in his words, it just wasn't football. So they had to wait till they actually had the technology available to produce an 11-on-11 game. Here's Backman. Wally's 0 for 2. Andahar is opening 18 on 60 pitches. 4+ innings, 4 hits. The 2 home runs to Howard Johnson. No walks and a strikeout. Summerall, with the Giants in the late 50s, early 60s. Pitch to Backman is a ground ball to Ozzie Smith. Her for 1 over to Clark, and they turn it. So 6-4-3. And there's 2 out for Mookie Wilson, who's 0 for 1. He reached on an error and scored by Ozzie Smith. Towards the end of his career, Summerall roomed with the Giant quarterback Charlie Connerly. And Charlie, kind of a suave guy, looked good on camera, just because Madison Avenue and the Giants just had a bunch of good-looking guys, Frank Gifford being one of them, and Alex Webster, and Wyatt Tittle wasn't that pretty. So CBS wanted to audition Charlie Connerly to see if he had the chops to want to become a broadcaster. And so him and Summerall lived together at the time, and so someone at CBS placed a phone call for Connerly, and it was Summerall who answered the phone. And so whoever it was that made the call from CBS said, "You know, young man, you got a pretty nice voice too. Would you like to come down and audition?" And that's how Pat Summerall became a television personality. He actually did a lot on radio as well on a local level, but that's how Pat Summerall found work. Connerly was married to a New York Times female sports columnist in the 60s, or was that later? Pitch to Mookie is a ground ball to Ozzie Smith over to Clark, and that will retire the side. Mets, no runs, a hit. They lose them on the double play, no errors. We go to the 6th, 4-0 New York. So Andahar, Smith, and her. And Andahar had 67 pitches. I can't imagine the computer will pull him. Perry and Connerly. Oh, never heard of her. Gooden got Andahar to strike out his first time up. And does it again on a 1-2 fastball way out of the zone for strike 3. So the opening 18 for Gooden. 66 pitches, 5 1/3 innings. 2 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Here's Lonnie Smith. He singled to start the game and struck out. Wow! She broke ground for female journalists writing for sports columns that appeared in the New York Times, Sports Illustrated, The Sporting News, and other publications. A barrier breaker! You're still sick. Don't be throwing up all over the place. I know that there is I'm sure most of you will know this. Pitch to Smith. Lonnie hits another ground ball base hit past a diving backman. Mookie picks it up. And that's a 1-out single. And I'll bring up her, who's 1 for 2. She lived to be 94. Wow. To get back to Madden, he was paired with the first 4 weeks of the 1981 season with Vin Scully. I just can't imagine that pair working together, because Scully is the consummate storyteller. He takes time to fill with stories and anecdotes, just kind of like what we all pretend to do now. Pitch to her. Got him! He got him with a 2-2 curveball. He throws that curve at 90, 2 out. That's 6 for Dwight. Here's Pendleton. He's 0 for 2. And Vin, who was a good football announcer in his own right, his last game that he ever called in the NFL was the catch. But he needed someone to just kind of sing backup for him. As JT Dutch says, he's a soloist. And Summerall, who was never a man of many words, it was joked that CBS paid him by the syllable, just was the perfect foil for Madden. Yeah, how could you script for Vin Scully? Be like writing for Shakespeare, you know? There was, it's either Dexter Clinkscale or Everson Walls on a pick six. Here's the perfect Pat Summerall call. Might go, must go, will go. And it just fit. You knew what was going on. He was going to score. And yeah, of course, working with Ray Scott all those years didn't hurt. 2 out, top the 6, 4-0 Mets. I'm sure I'll get some notes about why we didn't pay attention to the ball game, but Madden, larger than life figure. Pitch to Terry. There's a pop-up. And Strawberry comes in. Hernandez on the dirt. Makes the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit for St. Louis. They leave a runner on. 5.5 down, 4-0 Mets. Vin was very good with... Vin also had to deal with Paul Hornung. Yep, Vin did a nice job with George Allen. Alex Hawkins, who was not good. I think him and Vinny did the Mud Bowl at the Coliseum in '77. The Cards can't hit Doc. No one's hitting Doc this year. Keith is 0 for 2. Andujar's pitch is in, popped up. That's a rainmaker. Ozzie Smith fights the wind and the sun and makes the catch, 1 out. That's true. Here's Gary Carter, 0 for 1. With a run scored. 4 runs, just 4 hits. Andujar hasn't pitched bad unless your name is Howard Johnson. They've only left 1 runner on. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and the Cardinals have stranded 3. Gary walks. So the first walk for Andujar. Here's Strawberry. Darryl 1 for 2, a double. And that double drove home 2 in the first. There's a little looper in the right. That's going to drop in for a hit. Braun should have had it. Runners on first and second for George Foster, who is 0 for 2 with the strikeouts. This was the year they ditched the powder blues and went with the gray on the road jerseys and wore the red hats, as you can see in the upper left-hand part of the screen. Foster, there's a base hit into right center field. Carter will hold at third. They are loaded for Howard Johnson. Johnson has 2 homers. He had 11 and 389 at-bats in the real year. He's got 2 in the replay. Can he go for 3? It is 4-0 Mets with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. JT's leaving if he hits another one. JT, by the way, Tribe fan, JT is on the hook if the Tribe win the division. And remember, they're in first place right now in the American League East. JT will buy gift subscriptions equal to the number of Indian wins. Remember, 102 games won that division. 102 wins was the margin for the Blue Jays in '85. Pitch to Johnson. Hojo is going to get a base hit. That's going to drop into left field. Carter and Strawberry score. Foster will score. Hojo's got a double. That's his 4th RBI at 6-0 Mets. Can the Indians really... Hey, they're the guardians of first place, Brad. Well, they sent Bert Blyleven to the old person's home. He threw 157 pitches. So here's Santana. Raphael is 0 for 2. Porter and Andujar have a few words. Santana hits a base hit into right center field. Foster will score. Hojo will hold. It's 7-0 New York. They're reportedly selling. Why do you, yeah, this happened yesterday, too. That name isn't going back, Brad. Get used to it. Well, we'll let him pitch to Gooden, who's 1 for 2. 1 out. 7-0 score. I like Guardians. There's a ground ball base hit. Johnson will score. Santana goes to third. And for the second game in a row, I'm going to have to step in for the Cardinals. That's a problem. Who are we going with? Wow, Bill Campbell pitched. Okay, so 9 here. It's switchy lefty. Ricky Horton. Will come in, Ricky. Oh, he looks like a baby. Ricky is 26 years old. 49 games. He went 3-2 in 85 with a save and a 2.91 ERA. 89 and 2/3 innings, 84 hits, 30 runs. He did make 3 starts, 29 earned, 5 homers, because I can read column, 34 walks and 59 strikeouts. He throws the fastball at 90 and a ground ball pitcher. And Backman is 0 for 3. He has grounded into a double play. Santana on third. Gooden on first. I have no idea why. Oh, it's Daniel Snyder. They could make a ton of money just coming up with a nickname. Americans, Stars. But that's Washington for you. So Backman's going to drop one here. Santana will hold. The bunt is down. Clark will come grab it. Herr goes to first. Santana will hold, and Backman is retired. Here's Mookie Wilson, 0 for 3. He reached on an error and scored. So Santana on third, Gooden with no speed on second. 8-0 Mets here in the bottom of the 6th. So if there was a complaint about the Action PC 2022 game, is that the AI removal of starting pitchers is bad. They let Andahar get nailed through here. And Blyleven yesterday threw 157 pitches and won. Pitch to Mookie. There's a liner in the left that Lonnie Smith can't get. Santana will score. Gooden with 2 outs not going to run, and it's 9-0 Mets. And in a division that might be decided by 2 games or less, these 18 games mean a ton. No, it was a pretty consistent pattern. I watched him go. He only should have thrown 121 pitches. And he threw 157. I let him pitch and let him pitch and let him pitch. It's something to keep an eye on. Well, tomorrow with the when the computer runs, I think the Padres. I think that game's in San Francisco. Hernandez swings, ground ball to Ozzie, over to first, and that finally retires the side. 5 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. After 6, it's 9-0 Mets. So 9 runs, 10 hits. The Mets have only left 3 on. That's efficient. 3 hits for the Cardinals and an error. And if Dwight Gooden loses this. Yesterday, we just chalked it up to the Indians' bullpen being poopy. But today, there seems to be a setting that isn't right, because the computer AI do not speak it into existence. Hey, honesty's the best policy. But yeah, 2 days in a row. Once is okay, but 2 days in a row, the computer has to know when to pull a picture. Andahar got charged for 7 earned runs. And a game score of 18. 84 Fleer update good, and the first card I ever lusted to my heart for. Says Brad. Clark is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Got him again. That's 7 for Gooden. Swung on and missed a fastball. 1 out. Terrell Porter is 0 for 2. Took you 6 weeks to save for that. How much was it? They didn't sell those in the pack sheet to buy the set of 132. Pitch to Porter. There's a fly ball to right. Strawberry will track that one down for the out. 2 away. Steve Braun. He's walked twice. You would not expect him to be 40% of the Cardinal offense today. Pitch to Braun. Here's a ground ball at the middle. Backman on the grass over to first, and that will retire to side. Stretch time 9-0. If Brad remembers correctly, it was going for $40, but you got $3 a week allowance. That's a lot. I didn't get that much. And so he offered to sell it for you at $20 at a flea market. It was $2 shy after 6 weeks, out for $18. Wonder what that book's for today. And your parents were grateful that you did a lot of chores. Here's Connor. Gary has scored twice. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Less than $18. Depends on what condition it is, I suppose. Carter in the left field. Back goes Lonnie Smith, and he'll make the catch. 1 out. 60 degrees here. The wind blowing right out to right field at 17. Here's Strawberry. Darryl, single, double, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Got him. So Horton struck him out. An 0-2, swung on and missed. Nothing near mint anymore. That's not true. Here's George Foster. He's near mint. Not with the Mets hat on, though. Looks like Foster is like... You remember the course of Super Bowl Shuffle? Has that type of lighting, doesn't it? George has singled, struck out, and scored. Got him! A 1-2 fastball called for strike 3. So Gooden, throwing a 3-hitter, is through 7. 9-0 Mets. Yep. Van Slyke had a picture taken at Shea Stadium. 0 for 2. Smith and Horton. He might hear a who, or he might bat. If you didn't watch yesterday's game, the computer made defensive changes for the Indians, but it didn't want to take up Blyleven well after a point where he should have come out. Pitch to Van Slyke. There's a ground ball, good and off the mound, over to first, and another 29 in Napa. Here's Ozzie. Ozzie is 0 for 2. 9-0 Mets. The Wizard, it's a ground ball to former teammate Keith Hernandez, 2 out. Padres, Giants tomorrow, and then we'll go with the usual, how we normally do these replays, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streaming, but Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for the games. Ricky Horton, if he bats, is 1 for 16. Mike Jorgensen will pinch hit. The lefty hit 196 with 11 RBI. Got him, and that's 8 for Gooden. It'll be Neil Allen, the former Met, who comes in to pitch. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 8. All Mets all the time. 9-0. So Neil Allen, 27 years old. He'd be gone by July 16th. 23 games, a 1-4 record and 2 saves, and an ERA of 5.59. 29 innings, 32 hits, 22 runs, 18 earned, because they had to pinch hit for him, so they had to do something. 3 homers, he walked 17 and struck out 10. Wasn't Allen the guy they got for Hernandez? I think so, because Allen pitched for the Mets, I know that. JT Judge says yes, it was. I wonder if anyone in the Action PC forum has noticed that. Again, we'll find out tomorrow when we do the third game this week whether the computer will pull a starting pitcher, but that's a concern. Pitch to Hojo, who's 3 for 3. He'll go 3 for 4. That's in the right center. Van Slyke's got it, 1 out. So Johnson, 2 homers, a double, and 4 RBI. And that would be his My Greatest Day in Baseball article for Baseball Digest. Rafael Santana, 1 for 3, an RBI, a single, and a run scored. Whitey made that trade to make a statement. Not to bring up people's dirty laundry, but that was in the heyday of the cocaine years, wasn't it? Got to be able to monetize this, so be nice. Pitch to Santana. There's a ground ball base hit in the right field, and Braun will pick it up. So I'll bring up Gooden. Doc is 2 for 3. He has singled twice and driven in a run. And he will bunt with a 9-run lead. That's a good one. Yeah, Whitey was, you might say, filling a crack on the team. This was 85 was the year. It wasn't over the 2-day strike, but instead of being able to strike, they all got called to Pittsburgh to testify in somebody's cocaine trial. Baseball. What a sport. Gooden squares, and that will go foul. And the count is 0-2. How you doing, Chili Manao? We try our best to laugh through these. The Pittsburgh drug trials were in 85. It was a veritable who's who. I remember Musburger talking about that in one of those CBS Sports Saturday or Sports Sunday, kind of sneering his way through it. Gooden swings, and he's 3 for 4. Would you believe that? It skips past Braun, of all people. Santana goes to third. Gooden is on with a single, and an East 9. Well, the Cardinals still have 161 left after this. Oh, was the Pirates' mascot was a big dealer. The parrot. Now, if I was clever enough, it's past 1 o'clock here. Tonight on CBS, it's Murder, she wrote. Jessica goes on vacation to Pittsburgh to visit an old friend as the mascot for the baseball team snorts himself dead. What could possibly go wrong? That's tonight on Murder, she wrote. There's a ESPN 30 for 30 on that. The parrot was like a middleman. That's nuts. Wally Backman is 0 for 3. He has grounded into a double play. Runners on second and third. Backman swings. Ground ball to Clark. Santana goes home. Clark goes to the bag, and it's 10-0 New York. Brings up Mookie Wilson 1 for 4. Mookie has singled, scored, and driven in a run. Long John... I read that seriously. Har, 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 har. Yeah, Long John Silver was the real distributor. Talk about a hush puppy. Bill James once wrote, Dave Parker didn't lose his batting eye by playing too much Trivial Pursuit. Had some good years for the Reds. Pitch to Mookie. There's a fly ball left center field. Van Slyke will grab that one, and that will retire the side. All Mets all the time. A run, 2 hits, and an error. It's 10-0 New York. Another Pittsburgh parrot got caught doing a hanky-panky in public. So Gooden going for the shutout. It'll be the top of the order. So the first 27 batters for Gooden. 8 innings, 3 hits, 100 pitches. 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The hanky-panky or the hokey-pokey? Well, one can lead to the other. Easy to get those two confused. Tito Landrum will pinch hit. Landrum, 280, 4 homers, 21 RBI. Chuck Tanner claimed not to know anything about it. Wow. I find that hard to believe. Pitch to Landrum, and there's a base hit. Foster will pick it up. And that'll bring up Tommy Herr, who is 1 for 3. He is singled and struck out. So tomorrow at noontime, it'll be the Padres and the Giants. And that will be the last baseball stream of the week. And JT Dutch triggers the Autobot of the day. You can't have your head that far up your rectum. Even AJ Hinch doesn't hit. No. Carter and Gooden have a few words. From the stretch, her line drive foul, and somebody from Brooklyn made that catch. It's 1-2 count. Howard Johnson's going to be our player of the game, presented by Howard Johnson. Nope, rectum is not that bad of a word. I allowed it. Pitch to her. Tommy hits a ground ball to Santana. Backman for 1. No throw to first. 1 out for Terry Pendleton, is 0 for 3. Her has a 92% chance to steal. The Cardinals, when they're not facing the best pitcher in baseball, will use their speed to win games. But they've had 2 runners thrown out trying to steal today. Ivan De Jesus will pinch hit. 222, no homer, 7 RBI. No, I think Whitey got cleared earlier. It's amazing what the auto filter will call out. I mean, it's a good for what it does. The Mets only have 1 Dwight Gooden. That's for sure. Darling was pretty good in 85. Sid Fernandez wasn't quite there yet. And one of the reasons the Mets were so good in 86 was a mistake the Red Sox made. There's a surprise, and nothing to do with the World Series, but them getting Bobby Ojeda. Pitch to De Jesus is a ground ball up the middle. Santana to Backman to Hernandez. And that will retire the side. So the Mets win this one in a laugher. 10-0. So 10 runs. No, and Tudor was a Red Sox too, but he did some time with the Pirates first, right? Brad says, we'll get the joke. When we were dating, my wife did talk to text on her cell once and said, I can't wait to hear your voice. Brad was out of town, and the Autobot translated it to, I can't wait to heat your vice. There you go. Yes. Yeah. John Tudor, described by some from Schenectady, New York, by the way, described in his time with Boston as having all the personality of a Massachusetts state trooper. 10 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Mets. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Cardinals. Andujar, 5 1/3, 9 hits, 9 runs, 7 earned. The 2 homers to Hojo, who was our player of the game. He walked one and struck out one. Horton, Hurta, and Allen actually pitched well. Good 9 innings, 4 hits and a shutout. He walked 2 and struck out 8. John Tacturn Tudor. It gets me. So the rest of the games on this April 9th, 1985. Oops. And I gotta do something about that. Come on. It'll be, by the way, Lamar Hoyt and Atlee Hammaker tomorrow. Just because I forgot it was 2 in the same day. Yeah, and good, yep. No, Tudor was a lefty, Brad. I can look at the camera for this. At Fenway before they started elevating the press box. Bruce Hurst, and Tudor just was lit up. He was Christmas tree. So, Tudor needed the big old cookie cutter ashtray ballparks to pitch in. He just wasn't good at Fenway. Other scores, by the way, on this 9th day of April. The Cubs pound the Pirates 12-4. Rick Sutcliffe gets the win. They pound out 16 hits. Ron Say 2 homers and 5 RBI. Good opening day. The Brewers start the year 1-0. They beat the White Sox 3-2 at 11. Pete Ladd with the win. James with the loss. Ben Ogilvy 2 for 4 with a double. Moose Haas, by the way, 8 innings, a 2-hit ball, and 8 strikeouts. The Phils beat the Braves 8-2. Steve Carlton gets the opening day win. Rick Mailer takes the loss. Steve Jeltz 3 for 4, 2 RBI, and a triple. The Astros beat the Dodgers 3-1. Nolan Ryan beat Fernando Valenzuela in that one. Enos Cabell 4 for 4 with a double. The Reds, by the way, lost their opener yesterday to Montreal. Oakland beat Seattle 2-1. Chris Cordioli 1-0. Matt Moore 0-1, and Jay Howell with the save for there. And the opener in Anaheim, the Twins doubled the Angels 8-4. Frank Viola goes to 1-0. Bobby Witt, probably walked 18,000 batters, goes to 0-1. Kent Herbeck, his first of the year, and drives in 2. So that'll do it. It'll be San Diego and San Francisco tomorrow. And if you're planning on next week, well, Tuesday will be Toronto and Kansas City. Wednesday will be the Dodgers and the Giants. And then the Thursday stream will be the Tigers and the Royals. Don't need to do Chicago and Boston. So that's what we got for you. So those are the next 4 games for you. I'm Ron Juckett. We will have I'm assuming that people want Super Bowl 11. Happy New Year, JT. If you guys were to pick a game for Madden Tribute, Super Bowl 11, Sea of Hands, Immaculate Reception, goes to the post. Anyway, so we'll have a Madden game up for you later tonight. You like the Immaculate Reception game, interesting. That's the lone time that they made the playoffs that they were 1 and done. Hard to believe. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We're going to type digital dice, I think, in a few minutes. Have a good day, everybody. So long.